Hi guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Left Side View. In this podcast, we are trying to look at the matches that happened in this week. There were certain matches in the Premier League, followed by the quarterfinal of Coppa Italia. But I think we should start at the Club World Cup. Palmeiras overcame Al Ahly 2-0 in the semi-final on Tuesday, and Chelsea defeated Al Hilal 1-0. So Palmeiras and Chelsea are going to face off on Saturday's final. So the last time Chelsea met a Brazilian team, I think it was Corinthians, we lost the Club World Cup final. Rahul, your views on the semi-final, especially for the Chelsea match, and your expectations from the final?
Well, to be honest, uh, like this is what I've read as well. Palmeiras are going to be a different beast altogether. I think South American clubs they take this competition very seriously. From what I've read, from what I've heard, I think even the fan base of Brazilian clubs they come to these uh, countries in large, like a huge fan base is going to be there, like it was against Al Hilal. Even now, we're going to feel like an away team. Like obviously someone like Thiago Silva and all these South American players that we have, they already know how important Palmeiras are going to take this competition, how seriously they're going to take this. So yes, we like the performance that we had against Al Hilal. We cannot have a similar performance. If we have a performance like that, it's not going to be a good reading for us. That's all I'm going to say. I just hope that we win because, like we've mentioned to each other before, this is a competition that we as a club have never won. And yeah, not really sure when we'll get another opportunity to win this competition. So I don't want to wait for another 9 years or 10 years to be in this competition. I just want to win this competition. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the last time we lost the final, the Brazilian contingent, Ramirez and Oscar and David Luiz, they were like literally in tears. And again, as you put it, I don't know how much we want it. I hope we do. Maybe Tuchel will be back for the final. If he is back, then definitely I think motivation will not be an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, Corinthians will be tough opponents, and I mean, again, whichever team wins, they'll have to fight hard for it. Um, Anything else you'd like to say here?
Yeah, let's hope if Tuchel is back, then maybe he's the lucky charm, I guess. Uh, Even Mendy's back. Maybe he could start. I don't know. Even someone like Reece James or Ben Chilwell are also there. Maybe just to provide that boost, that motivation to the squad, even though they know that they're not fit or they know they're not going to play, but still, it just shows the harmony that we have in the group. So yeah, I just hope that we win. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, just one more thing. I mean, we discussed it over WhatsApp that I told that maybe Kepa will look for better opportunities with his performances now, being really, really good. So I read today, in fact, that Kepa will be like wanting to move in the summer and Chelsea will not come in his way. So I think we'll have to look for a number two goalkeeper as well. And this investment is as good as lost now, Rahul.
To be honest, I don't really think that Chelsea ever had any issue in selling Kappa. I think the problem was that because of his form, we were never going to get a lot of money for him. But at least with this form, if we decide to sell him, we can at least get what we at least close to what we spent on him. So if an
I think his
offer
contract is running out. I think he'll
no,
leave
so
on a
he's
free
actually
transfer.
he actually signed a 7 year contract. So if he signed in
Okay.
2018, his contract is actually going to be till 2025. I remember very clearly because I've never heard or read a player getting a 7 year contract. So that's the reason why I
Okay.
remember it very distinctly.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I think
So
Mendy is number one. So yes, now that Kepa is in fine form, I mean, personally, I think even if he stays, uh, it's a good thing because it's good for competition. It will keep Mendy as well on his toes. But yeah, I mean, if he decides to leave, even then, I'm pretty sure we'll get someone capable as a backup.
yeah. So if that is the case, then which club needs a goalkeeper and how much they are willing to pay. All those factors come into the picture. So let's see what happens. Again, something to look forward to in the summers. Um, Coming to the English Premier League, we had Newcastle hosting Everton on Tuesday night. Newcastle won 3-1. I mean, at home, this was like the first game after the transfer window, and Newcastle looked much better than what they were. Um, Trippier played like a lion. He marshaled the whole defense, and I think he was the man of the match as well. On the other hand, Everton just did. I mean, they looked lost. They did not have any answers to the questions that were being posed by Newcastle, and it was actually a pretty timid performance. Rahul?
Yeah, first Premier League game in charge for Frank Lampard of Everton, and I mean the issues that surrounded his tenure, his reign as Chelsea manager, they came to the forefront very early on, like in the first game itself. But then again, maybe some injury concerns, not just that. Like two players had to be substituted in the first half. I think one was Yerry Mina, and I'm not really sure of the other player, but then another player came off injured. So again, these rotations, these substitutions had to be made pretty early on, which probably Lampard would have wanted to make, in the second half. And again, we keep talking about this, but then maybe if English Premier League also had five substitutes rule, then maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal. But because it's only three substitutes, so Lampard had to make two substitutes pretty early on. Maybe even someone like Dele Alli got to play more than Lampard would have wanted him to, because he's again someone who hasn't really played much for Tottenham. Same for Donny van de Beek, who hasn't really played much for United. So let's see. Like you said, that Newcastle's again first game since the transfer window, at least in the Premier League, and now all these new signings are starting to come in. Yeah, so a difficult result, but yeah, too early to, let's say, write someone like Everton off.
Yeah, but I mean, the only question here is Everton are like perilously close to the relegation zone. I'm not saying they're in that fight yet, but a couple of bad results and they're right there. Coming to Dele Alli and Van de Beek again, yes, that was like the issue all along, how match fit they are. And let's hope for them, their sake, their performances improve. Moving on, West Ham hosted Watford on the same night, and the biggest story here was the unfortunate video of Kurt Zouma. Not really would like to comment. I mean, I don't think there's anything to comment there. The behavior of all the so-called celebrities, they just never fail to disappoint us from time to time. And the biggest question surrounding this match was whether he should start. I was actually surprised that Moyes picked him in the first 11. And yeah, even after the match, all the talk was about that video. And but okay, from competition point of view, crucial win for West Ham. Jared Bowen scored the goal, and yeah, they are still alive and kicking in the top four race. Rahul, your views?
Yeah, like you said, I think the controversy or the whole focus was on Kurt Zouma not only being selected but actually starting the match. So yeah, it kind of took away from the actual action. But yes, on the pitch, I think West Ham got the job done. 1-0 result. Jared Bowen scoring the goal. So yeah, but yes, even after the match, I think Moyes was asked about like selecting Zouma, and he was like, his focus is on selecting the best team for the match. Whatever action punishment needs to be dished against Zouma, that will be done by the club. But yes, maybe he's right. Maybe he just didn't want to take any chances. Like yeah. So as a coach, I understand. He also justified that just because he selected him, that doesn't mean that he is not appalled by his actions. But yeah, like maybe that's all we can say at this point in time.
Yeah, and the final match on Tuesday was Burnley against Manchester United. Again, much of the same from United. Ronaldo was actually on the bench to start with in this match. And against a report that I've read, he is like he will have a showdown talk in the summer with the club, and A lot of the senior players are rooting for Pochettino to take over the reins. Coming back to the match, again United blowing hot and cold all throughout the match, and I mean both the sides had chances to take all 3 points. Maguire again being called out for his defensive errors, to put it very mildly, and yeah, I mean all the clubs who are in the top, in the fourth position race right now, uh, except for Arsenal and West Ham. I mean, the favorites for most individuals, Spurs and United, they actually lost this week, and yeah, just really don't know what to say about Manchester United that we have not already talked about. Rahul?
Yeah, we actually, even though we don't take our prediction seriously, but then we kind of predicted that United would drop points here, which they did. To be honest, I think it makes sense for both the parties for Ronaldo to leave, because uh, he's at that stage of his career where he just does not have the time. He needs to be at a club where he can win right away. Simple as that. He's 37, I think now. Yeah, just turned 37, and yeah, he needs to be at a club where he can win right away. Similarly, if rumors, which I think, I mean, it does look like it's going to be Pochettino. So even if that's the case, I don't really think that Pochettino is again someone who can handle someone like Ronaldo. It's as simple as that. He will simply not respect him. He actually needs someone like uh, Ancelotti or Zidane or Mourinho, to at least someone that he respects, or at least someone that can keep him in line. But Ragnick or Solskjaer or Pochettino are just not the kind of guys, managers who can, you know, keep him in line. So it actually makes sense for him to leave United. Like, it suits everyone if that's the case.
The latest name that has been thrown in the ring is Luis Enrique. So yeah, let's see.
I actually like him as a
Again,
manager, to be honest. I think he's a good manager. Like, yeah, but last manager to win the Champions League with Barcelona, even doing a great job with Spain, considering the disposal of players that they have. So yeah, but yeah, let's see if he is willing to return to club management. But if
yeah,
that's the case, could be a good appointment. Let's see.
point taken, Rahul. On Wednesday, we had Manchester City against Brentford, 2-0. I think we can move on. And then Norwich against Palace, a 1-1 draw. Not really much to talk here as well. Tottenham against Southampton. Now, I actually watched this match, and Southampton were on fire. They should have been at least 2-3 goals up in the first 20-25 minutes. Against the run of play, Tottenham took the lead through an own goal from Bednar at 18th minute. Armando Broja, he equalized. And then Son scored in the 70th minute, 2-1 to Tottenham, which was like, it was, justice not done basically, because the number of chances created by Southampton, it was, and the overall, the energy aspect, the way they were playing, it was just that they were not finishing it off. And finally, 2 goals in 2 minutes, and voila, they won 3-2. Rahul?
Yeah, so I saw the match till it was 2-1 to Tottenham. I was like, yeah, they're gonna win it. But then I went to sleep. I woke up the next day and I saw that it was 3-2 to Southampton. So I was really surprised, because I was like, 2-1 makes sense. I was just happy that Broja scored, but then I saw that they actually won. So yeah, I think their first loss under Conte at their stadium, at least in the Premier League, if I'm not wrong. Uh, but yes, I think a decent, in a way. To be honest, all these results, they actually help Chelsea now, because you were under the impression that maybe if United win their games in hand, or if Tottenham win, then maybe our position, in the table could be under jeopardy. So yeah, in a way, it's a very good result for Chelsea.
Yes, yes. I mean, that is the way at least we are looking at things. The more they struggle, the less likely they are to catch us. So yeah. And finally, we had Aston Villa against Leeds United. Again, Coutinho with a goal, 3-3. Great match. Unfortunately, I mean, no winners. But I think both the teams will be okay with a point. They are like right there hanging in the middle, no particular ambition or no particular scare for them. So from here on now, it will all be about excitement and try to, in some sort of a manner, trying to prepare for the next season, right? The kind of, again, for Villa, more importantly, the kind of ethics and the kind of strategy Gerard wants to employ. Bielsa, we all know it's like already carved in stone. Anything you'd like to say around?
Yeah, so Gerard talked about Coutinho, and I mean the two goal scorers, Coutinho and Jacob Ramsey. He's like, Jacob Ramsey deserves an England call up. Similarly, he said that if you don't like watching Coutinho, then you know nothing about football or something of that sort. So yeah, it's a good way to motivate his players, and yeah, I mean, like you said, he's come in the middle of the season. I guess in a way the target this season is to stay in the Premier League and do well, and then take it from there. Yeah, so let's see.
Yeah, and finally, yesterday we had Liverpool against Leicester. Leicester, like really in a rut right now. Liverpool won 2-0, both the goals scored by Jota. I saw Luis Diaz play, really impressed. Great signing by Liverpool. And Salah made an appearance as a substitute. Um, Again, 9 points away from City with a game in hand. They have to, I mean, both the teams have to play each other. Maybe the gap can be cut down to 3. Are we clinging on to, some unrealistic hope for a title fight round?
To be honest, obviously I want Chelsea to win, which is not going to happen. But then it's like, who do I hate more? So I kind of hate Guardiola more. So yeah, in a way, if Liverpool win, it's at least better than Guardiola or City winning. I don't know. Maybe that's my thinking right now.
Um, I think I don't hate Klopp at all, but I hate Liverpool. I mean, especially with their antics over the past 4 5 years. So, but then, right now Liverpool is less likely to win, so kind of rooting for them. But then at the end of the day, I don't really care who wins, as long as it's not us. In the other match, Wolves against Arsenal, Arsenal away from home won. Gabriel scoring the goal 1-0. Martinelli got a red card. I mean, he made two consecutive. I mean, he made the first foul. The referee let it go, played the advantage. He made a second foul, got 2 yellows, and off he went. So that was something I don't think at least I have seen. I have not witnessed it, and yeah, I mean the referee played by the boots. I just hope they do that a lot more consistently against the bigger teams. I will always have that, chip on my shoulder. Again, Arsenal winning right in the thick of the top 4 race with the 4 teams. There was a comment by Ruben Neves that this is the state of Arsenal right now. They are celebrating a win at Wolves, so vehemently. He posted something along these lines on his Twitter account. But I mean, I don't know how that is the state of affairs. I mean, Arsenal in 2022, this is where they are right now. So yeah, they fought hard. Defensively, they were actually good. Ramsdale made some great saves once again. So yeah, great win for Arsenal. Rahul?
Yeah, so he said that they were celebrating like they won the league. I mean, which is what they do in a way. Like every time they beat even a big team, which doesn't really happen much. Fingers crossed. Even then, they're like, oh my god, like they won the fucking Champions League, which they're never gonna win. But yeah, uh, even Arteta was asked about like his players' disciplinary issues. Like in every other match or every match, one player is getting sent off. Like sometimes it's Jaka, sometimes it's Partey. Now it was Martinelli. So yeah, he's like, I just saw an interview where he's like, run out of ideas. I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, what
On a
matters is
lighter note,
sorry.
I think this is the way of trying to play solid defensively with 10 men on the pitch, because they have been consistently able to do that.
Yeah,
not with 11.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if they had a player sent off because they got the job done. They managed to win the game. And to be honest, this is not the first time that we've seen a game like this from Arsenal this season, at least. Even I think the 0-0 draw against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, when they actually had a player sent off in the 24th minute, and still they managed to hold on. So it's not something that's one off now, at least after last night's result.
Yeah, I think that's about it from the Premier League. In the Coppa Italia on Tuesday, we had Inter against Roma. Inter fresh off their loss against Milan. They were playing at home. They won the match 2-0. The second goal from Sanchez, again, a long range effort, absolutely beautiful. Something that we expected. Rahul, your views?
Actually, both the goals, even the goal that Dzeko scored was amazing in the second or third minute. Actually, uh, obviously didn't celebrate against former club. But then the thing to note was the reception that Mourinho got from Inter Milan. Obviously, a thing, the kind of thing that touches your heart. Obviously, we are Mourinho just so for us, it's always very special. Uh, and then yeah, like we got to talk about the result. Even Mourinho was like every time his players they come up, in a big match. I don't know what happens. Maybe their mentality changes, or these players just don't have that mentality, to go into the faces of someone like big teams like Inter Milan or Juventus. Uh, but yeah, it's something that's been happening quite often, and not just this season, but even in the past 2 seasons under Paulo Fonseca. Like this was one of the biggest issues identified. I think they only could manage, I think, 4 points out of 33 points in big games. So yeah, that's something that Mourinho needs to fix. And again, it's not really something that can go away maybe right away, but yes, Mourinho at least knows what the problem is or where the problem lies. Uh, yeah, like if because from what I remember, when Mourinho was at his peak, these big matches were actually his specialty to park the bus for want of a better word, or at least grab a draw, or at least just a smash and grab a 1-0 result. So those results are like becoming a distant memory now. I mean, obviously, like we had won this season, the Atlanta match away from home in the league, but yeah, other than that, like even at home against Inter Milan in the league, just capitulated, and even now. Uh, so yeah, let's see. They will need some time to like rebuild. You're on mute, Amitabh.
So sorry. On Wednesday, we had Milan against Lazio. Uh, Liao and Jesse scored, and Giroud had a brace again, following up from his great performance over the weekend. 4-0 victors. I mean, there was some doubt, at least in my mind. I remember I predicted Milan to win, but there was some doubt that maybe this competition is not something that they'll put a lot of importance to. But then again, they're out of all other competitions, so it made sense to play their best team and again triumphant winners. Rahul?
Man, seriously, like it was hard to watch, to be honest. Yeah, like this happens with Sari for some reason. Every time you think that he's a, a great manager or a good manager, his team his teams then have a result like this. I don't know what the issue is, to be honest. Like uh, at Chelsea, even he had these results wherein there were games when the team looked just so disjointed, and then all of a sudden in the next match they would look so good. It was such a contrast. So these things happen. Like in there are games wherein under Sari, the team just does not turn up. Uh, but at least at least at Chelsea when he was there, we had someone like Eden Hazard. So maybe that papered over the cracks. But even at Juventus last season, or sorry, a couple of seasons ago, uh, there were games wherein it just didn't look like this is a Juventus side uh, that had won the league, 8 seasons in a row, and obviously they managed to win it under him as well. But again, maybe because it was Ronaldo, he papered over the cracks. Even under Napoli, it took him some time. But then Lazio, his job at Lazio is actually a totally different job. He doesn't really have anybody like that, at least in my opinion. Like he doesn't really have a Ronaldo or an Eden Hazard. Obviously, he's got other players like Milinkovic-Savic or Immobile, but then I still think that these players cannot do it alone. These players they need someone alongside them, and especially the level of competition that we have right now, especially in Serie A, the teams are just so good. So this these kind of performances are just not going to cut it.
Yeah, again, I mean, yes, Lazio is fighting with limited resources. That is for all of us to see. And I know in once you reach the last state, you would like to, go all the way through in any cup competition. But I think the difference in quality just showed. And again, going back to the argument Sari had with, higher ups in the club, yeah, maybe they have to, recruit wisely over the summer in order to strengthen the squad. Moving on, Atalanta against Fiorentina. Rahul, you did say that this was like the most interesting match out of the four, and again, results-wise, also it turned out that way. Fiorentina actually winning this match in extra time. Zappacosta and Bora scoring for Atalanta. Piontek scored a brace. Martinez was actually red carded here, and then Milenkovic with the winner, 90 plus 3, 93rd minute. Your views?
Oh yeah, again I think so. Uh, Fiorentina lost to Lazio 3-0 in the league, so we were like, where are they going to go after losing someone like Vlahovic? But then in this match, obviously, like we know that Atlanta are actually without a couple of players. I think even someone their star striker Duvan Zapata is out for 3 months, could actually miss the entire season as well. So they actually started with Mario Pasalic, who's a midfielder, as a false number 9. Uh, but then I think Jeremy Boga scored his first goal for Atalanta, a beautiful goal. Even Piontek, I think 2 penalties. One, the first one he scored, and the second he missed, but then scored from the rebound. Uh, I think so. It did look like it was going to extra time, but then all of a sudden, Nikola Milenkovic, the Serbian defender, came on as a substitute and then scored a kind of a goal that any striker would be proud of, to be honest. So yeah, even Atlanta and like everyone was surprised that this is not going to extra time, because the goal that he scored, it looked like that it could be ruled out by VAR, but then after VAR officials took a look at it for like 2-3 minutes, it was decided the goal will stand, and yes, it was the last kick of the game, and that's how it ended. So uh, it's just bad timing in a way that once the transfer window got over, that's when Zapata got in a way injured. Had they known, obviously, in the window that he would be out for such a long time, maybe they would have purchased a striker, at least maybe on loan or till the end of the season. But yeah, it actually, now I actually feel like with the loss of Zapata, it does look like Atlanta could be the biggest losers, at least in terms of top 4 race.
Yeah, of course. When you lose, that many goals, it will be difficult, to try and make up for it. And finally, we had Juventus against Sassuolo. Sassuolo actually gave a great account of themselves. Juventus were made to work hard for the win. It was actually Neto's own goal, late in the second half, 88th minute, that gave the spoils to Juventus. Dybala actually scored for Juventus on the 3rd minute. Um, Something that we did expect, but maybe not the manner of which it all played out. Rahul?
Yeah, like so I think Chesney didn't start. It was Juventus's backup goalkeeper Matteo Perin. He started the match and he made some incredible saves. To be honest, like yeah, it didn't really look like Juventus were the better team or the bigger team, because we've already seen the season. Sassuolo have already managed to beat Juventus at their stadium. They won 2-1 in the league there. So yeah, uh, but the winner again, in a way, Vlahovic played a huge role in that goal. Uh, and yeah, eventually they did manage to get over the line. And lo and behold, so in the semi-final, Juventus actually faced Vlahovic's former club, Fiorentina. So, it's going to be another exciting match. And again, the other semi-final being the Milan derby. So yeah. whoever wins or whoever it's gonna be a great round of matches. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to predict the winners of the semifinals and then consequently the finals right now? I mean,
Um,
again, who takes them seriously?
I think Juventus is gonna win.
And that's the easy bit.
Yeah. I think Inter Milan are gonna win. They'll take revenge. To be honest,
And the final?
Inter Milan.
Okay, okay. I Juventus through, Milan through, and Milan wins it.
So either way, it's gonna be whoever wins between the Milan sides. But
Yeah, I mean, see, the Vlahovic factor cannot be discounted. The problem is that. But I mean, that is something that I hope. Vlahovic will be a bigger factor if Juventus are playing Milan rather than when they're playing Inter. So if they're playing Milan, Juventus will be favorites, but still, I'm going with Milan.
okay.
Yeah, and that's just past loyalty. So with that, we come to the end of this podcast. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. See you in the other podcast. Take care. Bye bye.
All right.